Baby, if only you knew the weight of those words. You never knew the real me. I've carried that truth in silence, tucked away in the deepest corners of my heart, because I was terrified of what would happen if I let you see past the version of me I carefully built for you. The smiles, the composure, the way I always seemed in control. It was a mask, and not because I wanted to deceive you, but because I was afraid that if you saw the cracks, you might not love me the same way. I thought I was protecting both of us, but in reality, I was slowly drowning behind my own walls. And now, with no contact between us, every memory plays in my mind like a movie I can't turn off. I wonder if you'd even recognize me if we sat across from each other right now. The me, without the armor, without the rehearsed responses, without the weight of trying to be perfect for you. You saw my laughter, my passion, my ambition, but you didn't see the nights I stared at the ceiling, wondering if I was enough. You didn't see how my hands shook after our fights, not from anger, but from the fear of losing you. You didn't hear the way my heart raced every time I thought you might walk away. I think about all the times you told me I was strong, and I let you believe it was effortless. The truth is, my strength was built from surviving storms I never told you about. I've been broken before, by people I trusted, by promises that dissolved into nothing. And a part of me was always on guard, even with you. I hid my scars like they were something to be ashamed of, and in doing so, I never gave you the chance to love me completely. And maybe that's why we're here now, in this silence that feels heavier than any argument we ever had. You might think you know why I pulled away, but the truth is layered. It's not just about the misunderstandings or the pride or the words left unsaid. It's about the version of me I never let you meet. The real me would have told you that I'm not always brave, that I have nights where I feel like I'm falling apart, that I've made mistakes. Not because I didn't care, but because I cared so much it scared me. And I wonder, baby, if you had known this side of me from the start, would it have made you love me more, or would it have sent you running? Would you have stayed to understand the shadows as well as the light? Now, with no contact, I'm left with these questions that don't have answers. All I can do is hope that someday you'll want to know, not just the person I was with you, but the person I've always been beneath it all. Baby, there's so much I still need to say, and the silence between us is deafening. Every day that passes without your voice feels like I'm walking deeper into a fog, and I keep reaching out in my mind, hoping you'll be there, but finding only emptiness. You see, the real me I spoke of, the one you never truly knew, wasn't kept from you because I didn't trust you. It was because I didn't trust the world not to take you from me once you saw all my flaws. I thought if I kept the cracks hidden, we'd have more time. But now I see that hiding them didn't protect us, it only created a distance I can't bridge with a single message. I want to tell you about the nights I stayed awake, replaying every word you ever said, searching for the moment it started to slip away. I want you to know that even when my words came out sharp, my heart was still soft for you. I want you to understand that my walls weren't built to keep you out. They were built to keep my own pain in. Do you remember the times I looked at you and smiled, but didn't say what I was really thinking? Sometimes I was afraid you'd see the fear in my eyes, the fear that I wasn't enough, the fear that you'd find someone who didn't have as many battle scars. And yet, the truth is, those scars are me. They tell my story. They're the proof that I've loved deeply, lost painfully, and still found a way to stand again. If you had known the real me, you would have known that behind every joke, every "I'm fine," was someone silently praying you'd ask one more time, "Are you really okay?" Because if you had, I might have finally told you everything. But we never got there. And now, with this silence between us, I'm terrified that you never will. Baby, I don't know what you've been told about me since we stopped talking. Maybe you've heard things that make you question who I am. Maybe you've convinced yourself I've moved on without a second thought. But if you could see inside my mind, you know that I carry you with me in every single moment. I hear your voice in the quiet. I see your face when I close my eyes. And sometimes I even reach for my phone before remembering we're not talking. I'm not supposed to reach out, but God, I want to, because I'm done hiding. I'm done pretending. I want you to know every piece of me, the messy, unfiltered, complicated truth of who I am. And if that scares you, then at least I'll know you walked away having seen the real me. Baby, you've only ever seen the version of me I thought you could handle. The one who could smile through storms, laugh through heartbreak, and make you believe I was unshakable. But the truth is, I was never that unshakable. There were nights I'd lie awake, thinking about you, wondering if I'd already lost you without even realizing it, and maybe I did. I kept my pain locked away, thinking it would protect you from having to carry it. But all it did was make me feel like a stranger in my own skin around you, afraid you'd notice the cracks and decide I wasn't worth holding on to. I wish you'd seen the moments when I'd go quiet, not because I didn't want to talk, but because I was fighting tears I didn't want you to see. I wish you'd been there when I was at my lowest, when a single "I'm here" from you would have made all the difference. I wonder, baby, if you ever felt that same distance. If you ever wanted to say something but swallowed it instead because you weren't sure how I'd take it. We both got good at acting like we were fine, and now I see that our silence was slowly stealing pieces of us we didn't even realize were missing. I replay so many moments in my head, times when I could have been more honest, when I could have told you the truth about what I was feeling. Maybe if I had, we wouldn't be here now, living in this cold, aching space where the only conversations happen in our memories. I miss those memories. I miss us. And I hate that the real me, the one who would have told you everything, came out too late. But here's the thing. I'm not afraid of you knowing me anymore. I'm afraid of you walking away without ever knowing me at all. I need you to understand that every wall I built wasn't to keep you out. It was to hide the parts of me I didn't think were lovable. I thought I was doing you a favor by being easy, by keeping my mess to myself. But now I know the person who truly loves you wants to see all of you, the light and the shadows. If you had seen those shadows, maybe you would have loved me anyway. And if you couldn't, at least it would have been real. Baby, I need you to hear this without running away in your mind, without letting the noise of the past drown out the truth I've been holding back for far too long. You think you know me because you've seen me smile, because you've heard me say all the right things at the right time, but what you've known was the safe version of me, the one I created so you wouldn't see the storms I kept locked inside. I never wanted you to see my fear, my mistakes, my shame, because I thought if you saw all of me, you'd see reasons to leave. And so, I gave you only pieces, never the whole truth. But that decision, it cost us more than I can explain. I need you to know that behind every calm moment, there were nights I'd stare at the ceiling, replaying our last conversation, overanalyzing every word, wondering if you were slipping away and I was just too afraid to ask. I'd tell myself to be strong, to not bother you with my insecurities, but all that did was build a wall between us. I thought love was about being perfect for you, but now I see it's about being real, even when real is messy. And baby, the real me is messy. I've made decisions I'm not proud of. I've let fear control me. I've let my pride keep me silent when I should have fought for us with everything I had. When I think back, I realize there were moments when you looked at me like you could see right through me, like you were waiting for me to open up, and I didn't. That still haunts me. I kept thinking, I'll tell you tomorrow, but tomorrow kept turning into months, and those months became distance, and that distance became this. Two people who once knew each other so well, now living like strangers in each other's memory. But here's what's different now. I'm done hiding. I want you to know the real me, the one who still thinks about the way you laugh at my worst jokes, the one who still gets a lump in my throat when I hear the songs we used to listen to, the one who still wonders if maybe, just maybe, there's a part of you that misses me too. I want to tell you about the days I felt like giving up and the nights when the thought of you was the only thing that kept me going. I'm not afraid of your judgment anymore. I'm afraid of your indifference, because if you walk away now without knowing me, without seeing all of me, my flaws, my scars, my love, you'll never really know who it was that loved you in the quiet, in the chaos, in the spaces in between words. And if that happens, we'll both spend the rest of our lives haunted by the question, what if we had been brave enough to be real? Baby, I've carried this weight for so long that I almost forgot what it felt like to just breathe around you. When we first met, I showed you only the pieces I thought were worthy, the fragments I believed you could love. But what I never showed you, what I was terrified to show, were the cracks. The nights I broke down in silence because I couldn't bear for you to see me weak. The battles I fought alone because I didn't want to burden you. I thought protecting you from my darkness was love, but now I see it was fear disguised as love. And fear has a way of making the brightest souls feel invisible. I remember every moment you tried to pull me closer, every question you asked that I answered halfway, every look in your eyes that begged for truth and found only my guarded smile. I used to tell myself you wouldn't understand, that if you knew the pain, the mistakes, the chaos inside my mind, you'd turn and never look back. But maybe that was just me not understanding you, because you've always been stronger than I gave you credit for. And my silence, it was never protection. It was a wall that turned us from lovers into strangers, even while we were still holding hands. And now, I can't stop thinking about what we could have been if I'd let you in from the beginning. If I told you that some days I wake up with my chest so heavy it feels like I can't breathe, That sometimes I'm haunted by the things I never said, the apologies I never gave, the dreams I let slip through my fingers because I was too scared to chase them. That I don't just regret losing you. I regret not giving you the chance to love all of me. Baby, the real me isn't perfect. The real me is raw. I overthink. I get jealous when I shouldn't. I push people away just to see if they'll fight to stay. And I hate that I've done that to you. Pushed you so far that now I'm standing here wondering if you're even listening in your heart anymore. But here's the truth. I still love you in ways I can't explain, in ways that have nothing to do with the version of me you once knew, and everything to do with the soul that's been waiting for you to see it. I need you to know that the real me remembers the way your voice softened when you spoke my name, the way your presence could silence every storm in my mind, the way you made the world feel safe even when nothing around us was certain. And maybe I was a fool for thinking I could keep that without giving you all of me. But I'm not making that mistake now. I'm laying it all here, even if it means you see the parts of me I wish I could hide. Because if I lose you without ever letting you see the truth, I'll spend my life wondering if honesty could have saved us. I've realized something in this silence. Love isn't about only showing the bright side. It's about letting someone see the nights you can't sleep, the fears you can't name, the dreams you're too afraid to speak out loud. It's about trusting that even if they see every flaw, they'll still choose to stay. And baby, I'm here, choosing you, hoping against hope that maybe you'll choose me too. Not the me you thought you knew, but the real me, the one who's terrified, imperfect, but loving you with everything I have left. Baby, the truth is, I've been living with this ache like a shadow that follows me everywhere, even in the brightest moments. I can laugh, I can smile, I can stand in a crowded room and pretend I'm fine, but somewhere in my chest, there's a space that only your presence can fill. And I hate that I didn't let you see all of me when I had the chance. I hate that I let fear decide how much of my soul you were allowed to touch. Because now, in this silence, I see so clearly, love isn't about giving pieces, it's about handing over the whole map, even the parts you wish you could burn. When I close my eyes, I go back to that version of us, before the walls went up. I remember your laughter like sunlight, your hand in mine like the only anchor that mattered. And I think about how I kept certain doors in me locked, thinking I was protecting you from the storm inside. But now I realize I wasn't protecting you at all. I was protecting myself from the risk of being truly seen. The irony is, you saw me anyway. Maybe not in every detail, but in the way you looked at me like I was worth knowing. Even when I felt unworthy, you always had a way of finding me, even in my hiding places. I need you to understand something. The real me is messy. I've made mistakes that keep me awake at night. I've been selfish when I should have been selfless, quiet when I should have spoken, and distant when you needed closeness. And yet, even in all that imperfection, I have loved you with a depth that scared me. That's why I hid it, because loving you felt like handing you the sharpest part of me and praying you wouldn't cut yourself on it. But love without risk isn't love. It's performance. And I'm done performing. Baby, This no-context silence is breaking me in ways I never thought it would. Every day without your voice feels like an unfinished sentence hanging in the air. I keep replaying old conversations in my head, wondering if you could hear the truth in between my words, if you could sense the things I didn't have the courage to say out loud. Maybe you did. Maybe that's why you looked at me sometimes like you knew there was more I wasn't telling you. And maybe that's why we're here now, in this distance. Because you were waiting for the real me to step forward, and I kept her locked away. If I could rewrite everything, I'd start with this moment. I'd sit across from you, look you straight in the eyes, and tell you everything. The good, the bad, the raw, the broken. I'd let you see the nights I've stayed awake thinking about you, the mornings I've opened my eyes and reached for you instinctively, the countless times I've almost called but stopped because I didn't know if you'd want to hear from me. I'd tell you that I miss you, not just the you in my memories, but the you who could pull the truth out of me with nothing but a glance. I can't promise that I'll be perfect if you let me back in, but I can promise I'll be real. No masks, no half-truths, no rehearsed lines, just me. The me who's been here all along, waiting for the chance to love you without the fear of losing you. And if that means you see my flaws, my scars, my insecurities, then so be it, because I'd rather lose you after showing you the real me than keep you with a version that was never whole. If you're still here, if your heart hasn't closed completely to me, then maybe there's a chance to start again. Not as strangers, not as people pretending, but as two souls who have nothing left to hide. That's the love I want with you, the kind that's real, even when it's messy, especially when it's messy. Baby, I keep thinking about how the silence between us has become its own kind of language, one that's louder than any words I could say. Every second without you feels like a confession I never made, a truth I never gave you the chance to hear, and walk through my days wearing a calm face, but inside I'm screaming your name into the void, hoping somewhere it reaches you. And if you knew the real me, the me I've hidden even from myself, you'd understand why every beat of my heart still calls for you, even in this no contact, even when it feels like the distance is swallowing us whole. The truth is, I didn't just lose you when we stopped talking. I lost the version of me that only existed when you were near. You brought out a softness in me I didn't know I could have, a courage I didn't think I possessed, and a faith in love I thought was just a fairy tale for other people. But I was afraid that if you saw the parts of me that weren't shining, you'd decide I wasn't worth keeping. So I hid my storms and only showed you my clear skies. Now I see that by doing that, I cheated us both. I robbed you of the chance to love me fully, and I robbed myself of the chance to be fully loved. Every night I lie awake, imagining the moment our eyes meet again. I wonder if you'll look at me like I'm a stranger, or if you'll recognize the person you once knew, only this time stripped of the masks, stripped of the polished edges. I want to stand in front of you raw and unfiltered, letting you see every scar, every flaw, every piece of my past that shaped me. Because the real me, the me you never fully knew, isn't perfect, but she is yours. She's the one who would choose you in every lifetime. The one who's been holding on to the memory of your touch like it's the only thing keeping her from falling apart completely. No contact was supposed to make things easier. People say time and space can heal, but I'm starting to think they only magnify what was already in your heart. And what's in mine is you. Always you. I replay the moments where I could have told you more, where I could have let you in, and I ache with the realization that I can't rewrite those chapters. But maybe I can write new ones. If you let me. Chapters where there's no pretending, no half-love, no holding back out of fear. Just two souls meeting in the middle, ready to fight for the kind of love that doesn't scare them anymore. If this message ever reaches you, I want you to know what you knew of me before was only the surface. The real me has been waiting, longing, aching for the moment she can stand before you and say, "Here I am, all of me, and I'm not running this time." Baby, every step I take now feels like I'm walking through the shadow of what we used to be. I didn't realize how much no contact would pull apart the seams of my own mind, how it would force me to face truths I spent years trying to bury. You always thought you knew me, but what you saw was the carefully painted version I allowed the world to see. The real me, the one that breathes heavier at night because the weight of my regrets presses down on my chest. The one that wakes up with your name still caught between my teeth. That's the part you never met fully. And now I'm wondering if it's too late to introduce you to her. I replay our moments, the laughter, the arguments, the way our silences spoke louder than our words sometimes. And I see now those silences weren't empty. They were full of the things I didn't know how to say, full of apologies I was too stubborn to give, full of love I was too scared to admit, full of truths I thought might scare you away. But now I know the irony. You were probably waiting for me to be that honest, and I wasn't brave enough then. The real me would have told you about the nights I cried without knowing exactly why. The mornings I woke up feeling like I had to earn my place in your life all over again. The quiet ways I watched you without you realizing, memorizing your voice, your hands, your habits, just in case I ever had to live without them. And now, here I am, doing exactly that, living without them, living without you. But here's the strange thing about no contact. It doesn't erase the connection. It just makes it sharper. It's like every little thing in the world now echoes something about you. A song plays in the store and suddenly I'm back in your car, watching you drum your fingers on the steering wheel. A certain smell drifts through the air, and I'm in your kitchen again, laughing at how you always managed to burn toast but somehow made it taste perfect anyway. Even the rain feels like you. It falls quietly, but it changes everything it touches. And maybe that's what the real me is, finally understanding. You didn't just pass through my life. You carved a space in it, one I can't fill with anyone else, no matter how hard I try. No contact hasn't made me forget you. It's made me realize how unforgettable you truly are. And if you ever gave me the chance again, I'd show you every hidden part, every unspoken word, every truth I once kept locked away. Because maybe the real me isn't who I used to be. Maybe the real me is who I'm becoming. Because of you. And baby, every day since you've been gone has been a battle between the version of me you once knew and the version of me that's been growing in the shadows without you. No contact has a way of stripping away the noise. No late night calls, no random texts, no checking to see if you're online. And in that silence, I've been forced to meet myself in the rawest way possible. And I have to admit, I don't know if I like everything I've discovered. You always saw pieces of me, little glimpses I allowed, but never the full picture. I was too afraid of what you'd think if you saw the scars, the mistakes, the insecurities that lurked beneath my confidence. I thought keeping those things hidden would protect us. I see now it only built a wall between us. In the quiet, I realized how much I hid behind my own pride. I told myself you wouldn't understand, but maybe I just didn't give you the chance to. The real me would have told you that some days I felt like I wasn't enough for you. Not because of anything you did, but because I carried old wounds that whispered lies in my ear. The real me would have told you how much your laughter could change the way my whole day felt. How the smallest touch from you had the power to anchor me when my mind was spiraling. I should have told you that your presence wasn't just comfort. It was home. And now that home is gone, I'm wandering through memories, replaying moments until they blur at the edges. No contact doesn't stop the remembering. In fact, it sharpens it. I'll be walking past a coffee shop and suddenly I'm back at our table, watching you talk about something you were passionate about, and all I could think about was how much I loved seeing that light in your eyes. I'll hear a song in the background of a store, and it's like you're right there, humming under your breath the way you always did without realizing it. Even the wind on a cold night feels like you. The way you'd pull me closer without saying a word, as if your arms were the safest place in the world. And maybe what hurts the most is knowing I could have given you more. I could have been braver, softer, more open, but I let fear lead me instead of love. You never got to meet the me who's not afraid to say, I'm scared, but I'm still here. The me who knows that vulnerability isn't weakness, it's the deepest form of connection. The me who would rather risk losing you by telling the truth than keep you by living a lie. That's the me I'm becoming now, and I wish you could see it. But maybe no contact isn't just punishment, it's preparation. Maybe it's teaching me to face myself, so that if I ever get the chance to stand in front of you again, I can be someone worth standing next to. I can be the person who looks you in the eyes and lets you see everything, every wound, every hope, every piece of my heart without flinching. Because if there's one thing I know for certain now, it's that the real me has always belonged to you, and maybe one day you'll meet her, maybe. I've spent so long replaying our moments, wondering how I could have let you see only fragments of who I am. I keep thinking, if I had shown you the whole me, the raw, unfiltered, unguarded me, would things be different now? Would you still be here, or would you have run even faster? No contact has given me more time than I ever wanted to sit with that question, and the truth is, I don't have an answer. But what I do know is that the person you knew was real, just incomplete. I gave you my laughter, but not my tears, my strength, but not my fear, my promises, but not my history. And without those missing pieces, you never got to see the depth of my love, the scars that shaped it, or the darkness I fought through just to stand beside you. Some nights, I can almost feel your presence beside me, like a ghost of a life I used to live. I close my eyes and imagine your hand brushing mine, that familiar grip that used to tell me, without words, I'm here. But then I open my eyes to the empty space and remember. I let that space grow. I let my walls stay up. I convinced myself you wouldn't want the burden of my truth, when maybe all you ever wanted was to carry it with me. You thought you knew me, and you did, but only the version I allowed to breathe in the light. The rest of me stayed hidden in shadows, afraid that if you saw the cracks, you'd decide I wasn't worth holding on to. Now, in the silence, I'm meeting that hidden version of myself. She's softer than I expected, braver than I believed, and so much more in love with you than she ever admitted. She's the me who would have told you that every time you looked at me like I was the only person in the world, it both thrilled me and scared me, because what if one day you stopped? She's the me who noticed every little thing about you, from the way your voice softened when you were tired, to the way your eyes searched mine when you thought something was wrong. She's the me who still wakes up reaching for you, even though I know you're not there. No contact doesn't mean no connection. It's strange. Without the noise, without the constant back and forth, I can hear the echo of what we had more clearly. And that echo is both a comfort and a torment. It reminds me of the way you challenged me when I was being stubborn, the way you'd tease me until I couldn't help but smile, the way you'd hold me in a way that made me forget every bad thing that came before you. It also reminds me of the moments I let slip by without telling you how much they meant, the moments I thought I'd have forever to make up for. I wish I could say I've figured it all out, that I know exactly who I am now, exactly how to fix what's broken, but I'm still in the middle of that journey. What I do know is that the real me, the one you never fully knew, is someone who loves you without conditions, someone who's willing to stand in the light with all my flaws exposed, if it means you'd see me clearly, someone who would rather risk the pain of honesty than live in the safety of half-truths. And maybe, if the universe is kind, you'll get to meet her one day. Maybe. There are things I never dared to let cross my lips when you were beside me, because I thought protecting you from my truths would keep us safe. I told myself you wouldn't want to know the shadows behind my smile, the battles I fought in silence before I ever knew you. But no contact has stripped away that illusion. In this quiet, I've had to face that by hiding my whole self. I didn't protect us. I fed you fragments of my soul when you deserved the full force of my heart. I remember the way you used to look at me, like you were trying to read between the lines of my words, sensing there was more I wasn't saying. You were right. There was more. There were nights I'd wake up in cold sweats from dreams I couldn't explain. Mornings I'd stare in the mirror, rehearsing who I needed to be that day, making sure the cracks didn't show. And you, with your gentle persistence, kept trying to reach into those places I'd locked away. I never let you all the way in, not because I didn't trust you, but because I didn't trust myself to be loved if you saw the mess. Now, every memory plays differently in my mind. That day in the rain, when you laughed at me for forgetting my umbrella, I can see now how your laugh wasn't mocking. It was pure warmth. That night you fell asleep with your head on my chest. I realize now how rare it is to feel someone trust you enough to rest like that. Back then, I didn't let myself feel the full weight of those moments because I was too busy keeping my guard up. Now, those same moments are all I have, and I replay them until I can almost hear your voice again. The real me, the one you never knew, isn't perfect. I'm stubborn when I should listen. I've pushed away the very hands trying to pull me out of the dark. I've mistaken silence for safety. But I'm also the me who still checks the sky on the nights I know you'd be out walking. The me who still whispers your name when no one's listening. The me who would fight every demon I've ever known just to see you smile one more time. I didn't let you meet her before, but she's here now, and she misses you in ways that no message, no call, no apology could capture. Every day of no contact makes me realize that what I thought was protecting you was actually depriving you of the chance to love me fully. And I can't shake the thought, if you knew all of me, would you still turn away? Or would you take my hand and say, finally, you're home, baby? I've thought about what it would be like if you were standing right in front of me right now, looking at me without the mask I wore for so long. Would your eyes soften, or would they turn away? This no contact, it's like being locked outside a house I used to live in, pressing my ear to the door and hearing laughter, warmth, life. But I can't get back inside. I used to think silence was my shield, but it's become my prison. And in here, I'm forced to face the truth. You never knew the real me, because I never gave you the chance. I thought I was being strong by hiding the cracks, but really, I was terrified that if you saw the mess, the scars, the chaos that has shaped me, you'd decide I wasn't worth the fight. The real me, she's made of contradictions. She's the one who writes long messages in her head, but never sends them. The one who plays tough in daylight, but cries into her pillow when the world goes quiet. The one who can love with a fire so deep it scares her, because she knows fire can either warm or burn everything to the ground. You saw glimpses of her. The way I'd laugh too loud at your stupid jokes. The way I'd watch you when you weren't looking, memorizing the shape of your mouth when you were deep in thought. But you didn't see the nights I sat in the dark, clutching my phone, willing myself not to text you, because I didn't want you to know how much you had power over me. And now, every day without you is a reminder that the version of me you knew was only a fraction. You thought you knew my boundaries, my past, my dreams, but I kept the rawest parts hidden, like treasures I wasn't ready to share. And I hate that, because now I realize that those are the very pieces that could have brought us even closer. I replay the moment you walked away. Maybe you think I didn't fight for you. Maybe you think I just let you go. But inside, I was screaming. I was pounding on the walls of my own fear, begging myself to speak, to explain, to tell you everything I had locked away. But the words froze in my throat. The real me is not fearless. She's not untouchable. She's the one who still wears the bracelet you gave me, even though it's frayed and worn. She's the one who hears your favorite song and has to pull over because the tears blur her vision. She's the one who remembers the exact way your hand fit into mine and wonders if it still would. And now, without contact, I'm left in this limbo, half hoping you've moved on so you don't have to feel this ache, and half hoping you haven't, so there's still a chance you'll see all of me. If you saw her, the unfiltered, unguarded me, would you recognize her? Would you think she was worth the wait? Or would you realize that you never really loved the real me at all? That's the question I carry every single day, and it's the question that keeps me holding onto a hope I can't kill. Because even if it's foolish, I still believe there's a world where you meet all of me, and instead of running, you pull me closer and say, "Now I finally know you." And I'm not going anywhere. Baby, every time I close my eyes, I see the version of me you thought you knew, standing across from the version of me I really am. And they don't even look the same. The one you knew smiled at the right times, laughed when it was expected, and kept the conversations light when the truth inside me felt heavy. She was composed, careful, and always in control. The real me? She's messy, emotional, and feels everything too deeply. She loves with a force that can be overwhelming, and she hides when she's scared because she thinks vulnerability is a weakness, but only because she's been punished for it before. When we stopped talking, when the silence became louder than our laughter, something in me cracked wide open. I realized that no contact doesn't just mean not hearing your voice. It means no longer having that person who could read between the lines of my sentences, who knew when I said, "I'm fine," that I was anything but. And the more days passed without you, the more I had to face the truth that I had built a wall so high, you never had a chance to climb over it. I never let you see the shadows behind my smiles, the fears that kept me awake at night, the past that made me flinch at certain words. I wonder, would it have changed anything if I'd been braver? If I had let you see the tears before they fell? If I had told you about the nights I couldn't breathe from the weight of my own thoughts? If I had shared the fears that claw at me when I think about loving someone too much? Would you have held me tighter? Or would you have turned away? That question haunts me more than anything you've ever said or done. Because the real me, she's still here. She still thinks about calling you when something reminds her of you. She still replays the sound of your laughter, wondering if she'll ever hear it directed at her again. She still wants to tell you everything she didn't say, even if it's messy and imperfect. She still imagines the moment you look at her, see her as she really is, and decide she's worth staying for. Not because she's perfect, but because she's real. And maybe, just maybe, this silence is teaching me that the only way forward, the only way to ever be truly loved, is to stop hiding behind the version of me I thought the world wanted, and let the real me stand in the light. Because if I lose you without ever letting you meet her, I'll carry that regret for the rest of my life. Baby, the truth is, I spent so long making sure you saw the version of me I thought you'd like, that I never gave you the chance to know the version who actually needed you. I would edit my words before they left my mouth, soften my edges so I wouldn't scare you away, and hide my tears because I thought strength meant silence. But that silence created a distance, even when we were side by side. And now, in this space of no contact, I feel every inch of that distance, like a wound that never quite closes. The real me isn't polished. She's raw and tender. She cries at 2 a.m. for reasons she can't always explain. She carries scars from promises that were broken long before you came along. She loves with an intensity that could burn through walls, but she also retreats when she feels the slightest cold breeze of rejection. And yet, I think that's the me you were always meant to meet, not the one who smiled through her own pain, but the one who would have let you hold her while she fell apart. Now that we're not speaking, my mind replays the moments when I could have told you the truth, like the night you asked, "Are you okay?" And I said, "I'm fine," when I was actually breaking. Or the time you reached for my hand and I pulled away, not because I didn't want your touch, but because I was terrified you'd feel how badly I was shaking inside. I didn't want to scare you with my vulnerability. I didn't want you to think I was too much. But maybe that's the very thing that cost me the chance to be truly known by you. Every day in this silence, I'm learning that love without truth is just an illusion. And if I ever get the chance to stand in front of you again, I won't hide behind the mask. I'll tell you everything. The fears, the dreams, the wounds, and the ways you've healed me without even knowing it. Because the real me doesn't want to be a perfect story in your memory. She wants to be the truth you can hold in your hands, even when it's messy, even when it's heavy. And I wonder, if you saw her now, if you saw me now, would you still turn away? Or would you finally see that the person I was pretending to be could never love you as fiercely as the person I really am? Baby, there's a heaviness in this silence that feels like it's pressing against my ribs every single day. No contact was supposed to be space for healing, but for me, it's turned into a mirror that won't stop showing me the parts of myself I never let you see. I keep thinking about how many times I wanted to open my mouth and tell you, this is me. This is who I really am. But the words never made it out. I was afraid you'd run if you knew the truth. Now I realize you ran without ever knowing it. You only knew the me who smiled when she wanted to cry, who agreed when she wanted to scream no, who hid her shaking hands under the table so you wouldn't see the anxiety pulsing through her. I never told you about the nights I lay awake staring at the ceiling, terrified I wasn't enough for you. I didn't let you see the way my heart clenched every time I felt you pull away just an inch. I kept it all locked up, thinking it was strength, when really it was fear. In this silence, memories play like a movie I can't pause. I see the moments where I could have been honest, but chose comfort over courage. I see the way your eyes searched mine for something real, and how I gave you the version I thought you'd accept, instead of the one that was trembling inside me. And now, I'm asking myself, what would have happened if I had let you see me without the armor? Would you have stayed? Or would you have loved me harder for trusting you enough to be bare? The truth is, the real me is messy. She feels too much, loves too deeply, forgives too easily, and dreams in colors that scare her. She's not the perfect picture you might remember. She's a storm and a safe harbor all at once. And the cruel irony is, I think that's the version you were always meant to love. Now, with no contact, I'm left with a choice. Keep hiding and let you go without ever knowing me, or break the silence one day and hand you the truth like a fragile glass in shaking hands. I don't know which path I'll take, but I do know this. If you ever look into my eyes again, you won't meet the mask. You'll meet the woman who finally learned that being known is the only way to be truly loved. Baby, it gave me the brutal gift of clarity. It gave me the last stretch, the part where I had to let the words sink deep enough to reach the place in you I could never touch before. No contact gave me the brutal gift of clarity. And now I know I never gave you the unfiltered version of me. The me who doesn't always have it together. The me who makes mistakes. The me who still cries over scars no one sees. I thought keeping that part hidden would protect us, but it only built walls between us. I used to imagine that love meant giving you the best of me, not realizing the best of me includes my shadows, my doubts, my unpolished edges. I can't stop replaying the moments I turned away when you wanted to look deeper, the times I laughed off your questions because I was terrified you'd walk away if you knew too much. But baby, you walking away without knowing me hurts worse than the rejection I feared. Because now, if you think about me at all, you think about the mask, not the soul underneath. If you ever come back, I won't let that happen again. I'll tell you the whole story, the messy, tangled, beautiful truth of me. I'll tell you about the nights I prayed for you even when I felt abandoned. About the times I bit my tongue instead of speaking my heart. About the way I loved you so much it scared me. I'll tell you that even in this silence, my love has not evaporated. It has only grown more honest. But I'm also learning something important. Maybe the real me doesn't need to be hidden from anyone, not just you. Maybe this was never about you accepting me. Maybe it was about me accepting myself first, so that when love finds me again, whether it's you or someone who sees me without my mask, I'll be ready to let them in completely. And if you're listening now, if somehow these words reach your heart through all the noise between us, remember this: you never knew the real me, but you could have, and maybe one day you still will. If my words touched you, if they made you see even a glimpse of yourself, consider sending a super thanks to support my work and help me keep telling these stories that matter. Your love, your presence here, it means more than you know.